Okay, now let's do the next one. Example 27. Okay, so the question is, there are 200 people with skin disorder. Okay, there are 200 people with skin disorder. 120 has been exposed to chemical C1 and 50 to the chemical C2 and 30 to both C1 and C2. Okay, to find the, we have three questions here, we'll do that. Okay, so total people, okay, or people with skin disorder. People with skin disorder is 200 people. Okay, now out of that 120 has been exposed to chemical C1. Okay, so exposed to chemical C1, that is 120. Okay, and exposed to chemical C2 is 50 people, and exposed to chemical, both the chemicals. Okay, one person was exposed to both C1 and C2. Okay, that way how many people exposed to both C1 and C2? Okay, a person is exposed to both the chemicals. Here this people are exposed to only one chemical one, and here 50 was exposed to only C2, but here C1 and C2. Okay, both, so that are 30 people. So now if we take the Venn diagram for this. Okay, if this is C1 chemical 1, exposed are 200, sorry not 200, 120, and if this be the second chemical C2, exposed are 50. Okay, now see, 50 people are here. Okay, in that few are exposed to C2 also, who are exposed to C1 and C2, both are also here. Okay, and C1 is here to 120 people, in that few are exposed to both also. Okay, both the chemicals, that is in the integration part, the center part, this region. So now, okay, now what we have n of C, n of C1, how many? 120. N of C, number of C2 is 50, and 30 people are here, that is C1 intersection and C2. Okay, 30 people. So we have a number of C1 intersection C2 equal to 30. Okay, now according to the formula, n of C1 union C2 equal to n of C1 plus n of C2 minus n of C1 intersection C2. Okay, so C1 is 120 plus C2 is 50. Okay, and this is 30, so you have 170 minus 30, so you have 140. Okay, 140 is C1 union C2, that is the union of both total people exposed to, it could be either C1 or C2, we don't know. Total exposed people to the chemicals, both the chemicals, are 140. Okay, now the first question is chemical C1 exposed to chemical C1. Okay, exposed to chemical C1 but not chemical C2, only exposed to chemical C1. Okay, that is this part. Okay, this part, only the pink part. Okay, this is the people who are exposed only to C1, so that is the total minus this intersection part. Okay, so that will be, so this part is the C1 minus C2 part. Okay, that means elements belonging to C1 but not C2. Okay, so only this thing, only this part. So that will be, so the number of people here, n of C1 minus C2 will be, this area will be, okay, this area will be total n of C1 minus this intersection part. Okay, n of C1 intersection C2, so that will be 120 minus 30. Okay, that will be 90. So 90 people exposed to, are exposed to chemical C1. Okay, that's it. Now second one is chemical C2, exposed to, people exposed to chemical C2. Okay, so that is this part, this green part. Okay, people exposed only to C2, chemical C2. So this can be said as C2 minus C1 area, this area C2 minus C1 area. Okay, if you want this area, the total area subtracted by this intersection part. Okay, so this area is C2 minus C1. The number of C2 minus C1 is total area, that is number of C2 minus the intersection part, that is number of C1 intersection C2. Okay, so this will be C2 is how much, 50 minus intersection part is 30, so that will be 20. Okay, so n of C2 minus C1 is 20. 20 people are exposed to C2, chemical C2. Okay, exposed to C2. Okay, now the third one, chemical C1 or C2. Okay, exposed to chemical C1 or C2. Okay, C1 or C2, anything. Total people exposed to chemical, whether it is C1 or C2. That is this one, that is the union of both. Okay, that is here, that is what we got here, C1 union C2, that is 140. So that is a number of C1 union C2, that is equal to 140. Okay, we got it here. That's it.